Welcome to this explainer. So, you are tapping into the excitement of buying property in Wyoming. And honestly, who wouldn't be? The wide open spaces, those majestic mountains, the incredible communities. It's super easy to get completely swept up in the dream of owning your own piece of the equality state. But hey, before we start picking out paint colors or touring acreage, I need to warn you about literally the number one danger in home buying: financial guesswork. Making assumptions about what you can actually afford, that is pretty much a surefire way to turn a dream home into an absolute financial nightmare.
Which brings us to the big question. Is your dream home actually within your budget? I want to ask this to kind of challenge your assumptions right out of the gate. Because looking at real estate is about so much more than just finding a house with the right number of bedrooms. It is fundamentally about knowing your financial future. And the absolute priority of our time together today is to highlight exactly why it is critically important for you to use a Wyoming Mortgage Calculator before you ever even think about making an offer. There's a really great philosophy for this that goes, the goal of financial planning is not just to save money, but to understand the true cost of your dreams before you commit to them. Okay, let's dive right into this. A Wyoming Mortgage Calculator isn't just some boring math tool. Think of it more like a vital financial crystal ball. It literally allows you to peer into your financial future and see the real-world impact of a purchase, ensuring your home buying journey is based on rock-solid data, not just hopeful guesses.
Section 1, the true cost of ownership, beyond the sticker price. Now, what's really interesting here is how fast extra costs add up. Relying on mental math for a mortgage is just an incredibly dangerous myth. When you only look at the listing price of a house, you are hiding major financial responsibilities from yourself. We have got to move past the sticker price to see what you are actually going to be paying every single month. When you break down your actual monthly obligation, you realize your principal and interest are just the base. You've got these other major slices eating into your monthly budget, like property taxes and homeowners insurance. And hey, if you're putting down less than 20%, you have a slice for PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. Oh, and don't forget potential HOA fees. A good calculator accounts for the whole shebang, ensuring you don't get blindsided by a monthly payment that is hundreds of dollars higher than you expected.
Section 2. Why you must calculate first, and defining the jargon.
All right, to calculate properly, we first have to demystify some bank speak. The financial world is full of technical terms, and a mortgage calculator acts as a translator, turning these complex terms into easy-to-understand numbers that actually mean something to your wallet. Let's break down 3 key terms you will definitely encounter. First is amortization. In plain language, this is just your repayment schedule. But here is what you really need to know. Early on in your loan, you are paying mostly interest with very little going toward the actual principal balance of the home. This is exactly why calculating your terms beforehand is so critical. You want to see that amortization schedule to understand how fast, or honestly how slow, you are actually building equity in your home.
Next up is escrow. This is basically an account where your lender holds a portion of your money in reserve. Now, it does increase your actual monthly payment amount, but it does so to cover your property taxes and homeowners insurance. And while it makes your monthly bill larger, it's actually incredibly helpful because, let's be real, nobody wants to be scrambling to find thousands of dollars in cash right when tax season rolls around.
Finally, we have points. These are upfront fees paid directly to the lender at closing in exchange for a reduced interest rate. As a rule of thumb, 1 point equals 1% of your mortgage amount. Paying points can definitely lower your long-term interest costs, but as you'll see, your overall cost is also heavily dictated by some very micro-local factors.
0.65%. I want to boldly point this number out. This is the specific property tax rate in Sweetwater County. Now contrast that with Albany County, which sits down at 0.54%. This right here proves exactly why you need a Wyoming-specific calculator instead of just relying on generic national advice. Local property taxes directly impact your monthly escrow, and using that hyper-local data is quite literally the only way to get a reliable monthly payment estimate.
Section 3. Comparing your loan options. Okay, let's pivot from defensive planning, like avoiding those hidden costs and tax surprises, to offensive strategy. Because this is where the calculator gets really fun. It helps you proactively build equity and wealth. When you contrast a 15-year and a 30-year fixed loan, the trade-offs become incredibly clear. The 15-year has a higher monthly payment, sure, but significantly lower total interest and rapid equity growth. The 30-year gives you a lower, more comfortable monthly payment, but you pay much higher total interest over time and build that equity way more gradually. So the crucial point here is that minimizing your total long-term interest is often far more important for your overall wealth than just securing the lowest possible monthly bill today. Let's look at the hard data, and this brilliantly illustrates what happens when you adjust those levers.
Say you have a $300,000 loan at 6.5% for 30 years. That costs you roughly $1,896 a month. But if you drop that term to 15 years, your payment jumps up to over $2,600. Now, what if you bump the loan amount up to $400,000 and the rate to 7%? Boom, suddenly you are looking at $2,661 for a 30-year term. It's crazy, right? Just a 0.5% rate increase or a shorter term drastically swings your required monthly budget.
As the saying goes, debt is a tool that can either build your future or anchor your progress. Choose your terms with wisdom and foresight. This expert insight perfectly sums up why we are here. Comparing your options side by side using the calculator isn't just a good idea, it is absolutely non-negotiable for securing a safe, prosperous financial future. Section 4. When to get expert help.
Now, as amazingly powerful as digital tools are for mapping out your strategy, we do have to acknowledge their limitations. There comes a moment in every homebuyer's journey when it's time to bring a human into the loop. Here is what online calculators simply cannot do. They can't predict sudden daily changes in market interest rates. They don't know the unique closing costs or specific fees of individual lenders. They definitely cannot analyze complex self-employed income, and they lack that nuanced local market expertise. Once you've run your scenarios, you need to take those printed estimates to local professionals, folks at places like First Interstate Bank, Blue Federal Credit Union, or Wells Fargo to get binding advice and full financial checkups.
So, how do we put this all into practice? It is incredibly easy. Step 1. Gather your financial papers so you know your intended down payment and target interest rate. Step 2. Input the home's value. Step 3. Adjust the loan term and rate to match a few different scenarios. And Step 4. Review that amortization schedule. Most tools let you save your work, making it a total breeze to save different scenarios, whether you're looking at homes in Cheyenne, Casper, or Laramie. Which brings us to our final, critical question. Will your next mortgage be a calculated success or a costly guess? Utilizing a Wyoming Mortgage Calculator is the ultimate key to achieving your dream home without all the financial stress. It gives you the power to plan, the foresight to avoid hidden costs, and the confidence to walk right into a lender's office knowing exactly what you can afford. Start planning today. Use the data to your advantage and make your dream home a calculated reality.